A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the weird sun thing connected to my battleship, it's John Campbell.
You know we're off to a good start when the reference is this thing.
The problem I ran into with this issue is like every weird reference that exists, I either need to use next issue because it's more plot relevant, or we've already done it.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. This is a weird issue.
This is a weird issue. This feels like a kind of, maybe not a treading water issue, but like definitely like we're ramping up into a storyline, but that's the B plot, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because, yeah, I mean, number one, anytime, this is, I think, at least the second one in recent memory, because we've done enough of these now that I can say I have forgotten some of the early issues, but this is I feel like when they do a droid-centric issue, is generally a like, yeah, we're kind of buying time.
Yeah, I mean, this is not even close to our most egregious droid issue.
No, nothing will beat, was it Droid World?
Yeah, Droid World was a little rough. And look, we'll have worse droid-based comic books in the future.
Oh my god, of course. I mean, we've talked about this. I have nothing against the droids of Star Wars, but when they take center stage, Jesus.
Yeah, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, this ain't.
No, don't. And that's why you tune in, folks, to hear Tom Stoppard references amongst your Star Wars chat.
Okay, that's one of my favorite Stoppards.
How do you rank your Stoppards?
Well, Tom's definitely in the top 3. I'll give you that much. After that, it gets complicated.
Yeah. Well, I will say immediately from the cover, though, this looks like a more high stakes issue than Droid World because
let's get into it. We're talking about issue number 58 of the 1977 series of Star Wars from Marvel Comics Group. This issue came out in April of 1982. We are firmly into the 80s now, and we're beginning to creep ever so gently towards Return of the Jedi.
It's in the distance. What's that? It says, but Gargoni, it currently says Revenge of the Jedi.
Oh, well, that sounds really cool. And the logo's red? Whoa.
Wait a minute, though. But then Jordan, actually, Jedi would never seek revenge, so we have to change the title.
It is not the Jedi way. But anyway, this issue is brought to you by us talking about it, but also the people who created it, who include David Michelini on writing. We got Walt Simonson credited as both writer and penciler. We got Tom Palmer on inks, Don Warfield on colors, Janice Chiang on letters, a certain Louise Jones as our editrix.
Editrix? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, look, Louise Simonson, Nate Jones, is in the midst of also being heavily involved in all of the X-Men stuff during this time, and I could not help but be recalled the what's her title? Saturnyne from Excalibur. Supreme Dominix or something.
Right.
She's got some weird spacey title.
We're having fun here, but I think we're both want to talk about Jim Shooter.
Jim Shooter, who is listed as Emperor.
Yeah. They've been having fun each issue with Jim Shooter titles. Now he's just the Emperor.
Look, before it was maybe construed as playful. Here, I mean, I don't know how else to take this.
Well, it was in the context of Star Wars. Yeah, I don't think you can take it as a compliment when someone calls you Emperor.
Especially when you are the band of rebels who are maybe trying to work against the system that he is at the top of.
Yeah. We're definitely entering the era of Jim Shooter's not having the best reputation at Marvel.
Yeah, but let's get to that cover because, as you said,
man,
crap, what's happening here? It's a spacewalk, but also a death walk.
A spacewalk, and Gargoni, don't undersell it. It's a Death Walk.
It does
Look
get
at
its
that
own
font.
font, yeah.
Death. Ooh, that's bad.
Now, of course, immediately the comic book is asking us to consider whether or not droids can die.
Yeah, I mean, because I will say, just based on this, yes, but it appears that these are the floating corpses of your friends C-3PO and R2-D2.
But they're already inanimate, they're animate objects, but they just have to stand still for us to confuse them with, oh, John, my head.
We can't. We have to. I feel like this happens every week on this show. We can't, man. We can't talk about droid autonomy. We can't.
Oh God, press forward. Just press forward. Okay.
Oh God. Yeah. All right.
Millennium Falcon. We're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, but I do like Simonson, or at least the coloring here, which I have to imagine is our Don Warfield. I don't have any reason to believe he didn't color this cover as well. The reflection of like the solar rays and stuff on 3PO, making him sort of this purplish pink, kind of cool.
Yeah, no, there's some really good color work here. I mean, obviously we're firmly in the 80s of like back on objects are solid purple for some reason.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. But it's just like you don't often see in the comics we've done so far of Star Wars, the idea that 3PO is reflective, right?
Yeah.
He's shiny gold, so he's not just a matte color.
Yeah, no, it's true. As opposed to what he looks like in the top left corner of the cover there.
Oh yeah, where he's just yellow 3PO.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I like this color. This cover. It's dynamic. We're proposed a terrible threat to two of our most beloved characters. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to be okay.
Now, all those ships in the background, who knows?
Well, yeah, I don't know those ships. I know these robots, though. Yeah. So it looks like, though, I want to know what gets, because especially 3PO, the last character you expect to be going on a spacewalk, Death Walk.
Yeah, well, speaking of ships we know, on the first page here, we've got the Millennium Falcon. It's swooping around the skies of Arbra. Remember Arbra?
Oh, yeah, right. The new home base of the Rebels.
Yeah, that place with all those weird psychic mouse things.
God, I can't believe that's where they landed. It's like, oh, yeah, let's send them to the weirdest goddamn place.
Look, we're going to get a name drop of Pliff again, so this comic is not going to let us forget how weird this place is.
Yeah, God, I don't. Yeah, I can't believe George didn't use this in the movie.
I mean, look, it's definitely got some like Dark Crystal vibes, so I can see it in the like Lucasfilm family of creations as like a place
Willow.
like this.
Willow is the Lucasfilm fantasy.
Right. But look, it's a soft jump from Lucasfilm to Muppets to the Henson Company.
Yeah, no, there's no question that it does feel like Jim Henson and Frank Oz might be cooking up some of these creatures for Arbra.
But meanwhile, we've got a couple of the finest heroes of the rebellion flying away from the base for some mission that is a very important thing that will definitely matter in the long term.
By the way, a mission that I love this. Let's not promise too much. A mission that could cripple one facet of Imperial domination, which is great, but I just like the idea about like this is whatever they're doing is not going to win the war, kids. It's just going to maybe cripple a single thing that the Empire is doing.
I can appreciate that the rebellion is setting realistic expectations.
Yeah. Well, I can also appreciate that Walt Simonson and Dave Michelini are like, we can't do too much because there's another movie coming out. So maybe we could cripple one facet of the Empire. But
the issue is, of course, called Sundown, and how that will play into things we'll get into.
I got one comment about the Millennium Falcon here, which is you rarely see that satellite dish not pointed straight forward.
Yeah, it's pointed straight up. Now, I got to assume that the satellite dish is part of the scanning protocols of the Falcon, right?
I would assume so. I can't think of anything that I've ever seen where it's really come into use.
Yeah, no, not really. So it's kind of,
I've never seen Han be like, Chewie, alter the dish to pick up the signal from... Never.
Yeah. I don't know. My read on it was like, okay, it's scanning the atmosphere above them before they fly off the planet.
I mean, no, that's totally valid. That's the thing is, like, you can make it up because they've never been. I mean, it gets knocked off in Return of the Jedi, and there seems to be no consequences.
Yeah, well, they know where they're at by the time that's happening. They're like, okay, fly
Inside
out
of a
of Death Star.
Yeah. Okay, let's turn the page for some Lando backseat driving, folks. Literally, Lando backseat driving.
There's a lot of that in this issue.
Just that, he's just like, Luke, here's what you're gonna do, okay? No, you keep flying. I'll just be back here.
I'll just be back here relaxing. Because apparently he punched in the coordinates in record time, I might add.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
And
Thanks,
then they make the
Lando.
jump to light speed to parts unknown.
Yeah. With a silent roar and a flash of temporal brilliance, the Millennium Falcon vanishes. And do we want to go with it? Sure we do, but we don't get to.
No, instead we pan down to random rebel soldier number 4.
Oh man, that toy that you got for Christmas because everything else was sold out, and your parents are like, "God, it's a Star Wars thing."
And look, we're setting some status quo here. So the rebellion has set up inside this mountain facade on Arbra. And inside, they can hide from Imperial visual scans as well as like electronic scans.
From
So-
vagrant Imperial sensor scans, as is written here.
I love that phraseology there. Vagrant scans.
I do find all of this to be unnecessary from a modern comic book reading standpoint, but I will say I do enjoy Michelini's writing a little bit more than the unnecessary descriptions of an Archie Goodwin.
Sure. And I feel like Michelini is definitely working towards driving home themes and points as opposed to just like giving us purple prose to describe what we're already seeing on the page.
I'm less frustrated by the Michelini descriptions for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, lest we forget, of course, that inside this mountain, as we learned in previous issues about Arbra, is an all-powerful energy source that's a giant rainbow crystal.
This is where I'm getting my Dark Crystal vibes from.
Oh yeah, no, that's very valid.
Because they have established their base here around this huge crystal that gives them power and light and warmth and also a bunch of psychic rat friends.
Oh God, the fact that that's going to be like a major part of the book. You're talking about the Hoojibs.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Rodent-like telepathic natives, as it's described here.
That's accurate. And look, do they play any point in the plot here? No, but they're around.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Hoojibs, man. I mean, the whole point of our previous story arc was basically just like, maybe we can learn to live with the Hoojibs.
And now we are, so I guess mission accomplished.
I mean, we've set up. The rebels are here, man.
Yeah. We're going to follow this random rebel soldier down a corridor past a hallway where the important characters are talking.
God, by the way, when he gets into that close-up in the middle panel in the middle section there, that's the doofiest face they put on him.
Look, not all rebels are good looking, John.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason they put me on sentry duty and don't have me out front.
Even the rebels need their Colonel Clinks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this is true.
If you thought a Tom Stoppard reference was deep,
Yeah.
boy, wait till I start getting into Hogan's Heroes.
Kids love Hogan's Heroes. Who's the Colonel Clink of the Empire?
Oh,
If we're to draw the obvious Nazi comparison, right?
Sure.
Their
I mean,
Clink.
the one that immediately leaps to mind is Colonel Rampart from the Bad Batch and like Rogue One.
Yeah.
Or not Rogue One, Rebels.
Rebels, yes. Yeah. Yes. That
Like,
feels
there's-
pretty good.
There's usually some bumbling officer, because in most of the movies, whenever a Imperial officer fucks up, usually they're Vader fodder.
Right, yeah. Colonel Clink would not last long in the Empire.
Not unless he was like posted well out of the way.
They're like, even somebody who's kind of like a dummy like Krennic has aspirations that Clink wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think Rampart's a good. I think that's solid. Mm-hmm. That guy's just kind of not cutting it.
No. Or there was that one that Ezra kept impersonating in Rebels as well.
Oh,
Titus.
yeah. Something like that.
And like he just kept getting clowned on until finally they were in a mission like somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Very Clink-like.
Yeah.
Very Clink-esque.
Anyway, we're passing by this dummy. The camera's gonna hold focus as this guy walks past.
There I go. All right,
and we have a rebel command meeting breaking up as we focus in here.
By the way, do we know any of these characters?
I think Colonel Riken is somewhere in there, but I couldn't tell you who he is.
Because it's like, number one, we got Telly Savalas out front. We've got an extra from the Marlon Brando movie, The Wild One, with his motorcycle hat.
We've got the mailman from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah. Just Green Lady?
Green Lady. Two behind her is Max Headroom.
We've got an NBA player, an NBA center there, the tall white guy. Yeah. And then just to continue to be, and then finally taking up the rear are Yaphet Kotto and Harry Dean Stanton from Alien.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like, this is such a weird assemblage of folks.
Yeah, they're just part of the Rebel Alliance, John. It's a egalitarian, motley crew.
Yeah, I guess so. It's so funny that this is like top level people and we don't know any of them.
Well, and they're all talking about Leia's plan. Leia's got a plan for the Rebel fleet because they've got to hide them. Because right now they're just kind of floating around outside of Arbra.
Yeah, the base is on the planet, but what do we do with all the ships is the big question here.
Because some of these are so big we can't really even land them.
And when we turn the page, enough time has passed that on Arbra they've built an IMAX theater.
Yeah, I mean, look, they just had one. They were just...
Do you think that's one of those inflatable screens that people use for like out to these?
No. I'm saying the Hoojibs had a theater. This is their multiplex.
Right, yeah. They're big cinephiles, the Hoojibs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We'll be screening The Third Man later today. An Orson Welles classic. Anyway, yeah. And of course, who's questioning the plan? It's 3PO!
Okay, these next couple of pages bug the crap out of me because this is a classic case of, well, let me to explain it to you as though you didn't just hear about it.
Am I hearing you right? Did you just say that the following... Yeah. Not good writing. We're Michelini fans here, but I can't back this.
Like, maybe if 3PO was just coming into the room after this sequence, it would make more sense. But based on how the panels are laid out, it seems like 3PO was here the whole time.
Let me once again remind you, Princess Leia, that you just told me that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to waste 2 pages, like, reiterating something that was just gone over in a literal PowerPoint presentation.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to see. Do you think she had animations in there?
Oh, there's got to be, like, page wipes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it comes from in Star Wars, is the
yeah, right. Yeah.
The wipes.
The wipes and the wipes we use on this show too. But and also he's kind of shit talking Leia too, which I'm like, hey, robot, shut up.
The logic of your plan is irrefutable, but it seems so, well, dangerous.
Yeah. God damn it, 3PO. Why? Yeah. What are you doing here, man? Translate something for me. Leave your opinions. Ugh.
But then he's like, you know what? Wouldn't it be better if Master Luke was still here, Leia? Wouldn't it be better if he was still here?
Yeah. Couldn't we get a man in here to make some decisions?
I mean, look, that's not the text, but that's kind of the subtext.
Yeah, it is just like, yeah, man. And then, oh boy, I am not thrilled with this whole storyline that they're building of Leia's romantic rival, Lieutenant Bree.
Yeah, Shira Bree. We've seen her in a few issues now. She's sort of always, like, following along behind Luke and sort of giving him the puppy dog eyes.
And Leia don't care for it.
Not one bit.
Yeah. And immediately, I mean, so not only do we have a character suggesting, wouldn't it be better if our male character was here, but we then immediately have a woman hating on another woman. This is great for feminism. This
Yeah,
issue.
look, we're just nosediving into the Bechdel test here.
Yeah. And it's just like, because she's just like, yeah, hey, gee, thanks, sister.
Leia's line here: Commander Skywalker's project is as vital as this one, and he's needed there. Though I'm sure you'd enjoy making the offer yourself to him personally.
Yeah, the ... does a lot there for the
And
person.
then Bree's response here: Indeed, Princess, almost as much as Luke would. Bye.
Mm. The bitchiness knows no bounds.
Yeah, there's I suspect, and I haven't read ahead that far, that Shira's gonna be trouble.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, number one, she obviously does not become a character in the movie, so I have a feeling they're going to have to write her out in some capacity, right? Same thing with Arbra. They're obviously this is not going to go well on Arbra because that's not in Return of the Jedi. So
Yeah.
And then, I mean, okay, then the last panel of this is fucking nuts. I mean, because you've got 3 people going, wasn't it nice of Sheila asking to help like that? She's such a thoughtful person. And then it's yes, period, isn't she, period, which is more, okay, but that's not what I really, you know what I want to talk about.
The fact that Pliff is here and some cross-species romances in the air.
This is like when the Turtles talk about April O'Neil being hot. And you're just like,
This is more like the Jerry Seinfeld B in
yeah.
B movie.
Or it's like whenever Kit likes that a hot woman is waxing him on Knight Rider. You're just like, how and why? Always disturbed me. That horny car really got me.
But I'm more fixated on the 3PO line here, because 3PO is a droid that is fluent in 6 million forms of communication, is a protocol droid, but can't read the room.
Oh, no, never. Yeah, it does seem like tone would be really important for him to be able to pick up on, right?
You would think.
Like massively, potentially, like, dangerously important of him to, that could lead some serious situations. But I'm sorry, Pliff just being like, and cute too for a human. Oh, were I a human? Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, Pliff doesn't get any more dialogue this issue, so it's fine.
Hate to see her go, but I love to watch her leave, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Blake. Turning the page now. Prepare for some big pinks.
Oh, God, yeah. All of a sudden, whoa! My eyes got assaulted by this.
Yeah, this is the slideshow I was talking about, where Leia explains the thing she just explained.
Yeah, and I just like, it's like, another thing I hate in writing is just like, okay, but to get back to soothing you, it's like, that scene is over. Now we are refocusing on this scene. Here we get, let me once again explain what I just gave this presentation about.
And over the course of this page, I'm not going to go into it in detail, but basically they're constructing a big energy pyramid where they can contain the entire Rebel fleet and then dip that pyramid into Arbra's sun to hide the fleet from the Empire.
I'm kind of with 3PO on this. This does seem pretty, I mean, like I get the idea, right? Is that we're going to encase all of our ships in this force field.
Mm-hmm.
So that the sun, and by the way, this whole page is nothing but made up science gleep glop.
Though there is a little bit of gleep glop here that I do appreciate, and is actually like a very subtle reference, which I appreciated. I don't know how subtle it is actually, but I don't think it would have been common knowledge that Jack Kirby's real name isn't Jack Kirby. He is Jacob Kurtzberg, and so the Kurtzberg field generators here are a reference to Jack Kirby.
There you go.
Loves his weird space stuff.
Oh, does he ever? I mean, that's like most of his writing. But just like this was the best plan. Put him in the sun.
What else do you want him to do, John? Go fly somewhere else and wait around?
Yeah, crazy talk. I know. It seems like it's a thing where it's like, okay, this is great in theory, but it does feel like, and what kind of happens, should any part of this fail, you're dooming everything.
What do you expect them to do? Amass a rebel fleet near Sullust?
Yeah, that would be nuts. No, you're right. That's way too crazy. They'd never do that. Jesus. I don't know. Yeah, this is all just set up because you're reading this going like, well, this will go wrong.
Yeah, because it requires like 3 different pieces of technology to work in perfect unison. And if any of them fail, the entire rebel fleet is either crashing into the surface of the sun, being ejected from the sun at such high velocity that it destroys them all, or just evaporates everybody inside of the sun.
Correct. And you're like, oh, there's your plot.
Yep. In theory, it should work perfectly, is what Leia says.
In theory. Oh, dear.
Yeah, and apparently this is standard protocol, according to Leia here.
Yeah, we do this shit all the time, man.
Yeah, sure, why not?
We've never seen that done, but sure, why not?
Yeah. And look, we get a flying energy pyramid, so we're channeling some Stargate here, and I'm into it.
Oh, yeah. Well before Stargate, but yes, absolutely. And soon that theory is put to the test. Boom! We've not only... I mean, like... How long have they been at Arbra?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, like, they would have had to, for all this to come together, like we see, either a lot of time has passed between these pages, or they were ready to do this plan the second they got there.
I mean, Leia's has that dropped line of dialogue that says this is standard operating procedure.
I guess that's the idea, is they're just ready to do this anywhere?
I guess.
But that means they're carrying around these, like, massive energy generators and stuff like that. I mean...
Yeah, that are bigger than any ship in the fleet.
Look at that thing!
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Look,
what are we doing, man?
If we start questioning how much time takes place before, during, or after Empire Strikes Back, we're going to be here all day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is the weird time sink of Star Wars.
That's the thing that's been brought up about the current Marvel comic, which is wrapping up now, is like, if you're to take that as the year-ish between Empire and Jedi that we've always assumed, that was the most eventful year in all of Star Wars. If you think everything that's gone down in the comic over the last couple of years, then if all that happened within a 12-month span, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the fact that Luke comes out of that as like a black-wearing Jedi samurai actually kind of makes sense, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because everything in the world happened to these people.
Yeah.
Like, you can't believe what I've been through. I just want that, yeah. You can't believe what I've seen in the last year.
There were these robots. They got so angry. And then there was this weird chick who was from a movie I wasn't in that stole Han Solo. Oh, so much has happened.
All right. So, yeah, they're firing it up. Everything's looking good.
Yeah, everything's looking good. They got the energy pyramid up and going, and we get this awesome art of the whole energy pyramid descending into the sun. This rules.
Oh, yeah, this is great. I'm not, like, this is cool in concept. It feels nuts that we're just doing this. But no, I love the art.
And we get a close-up on Leia's face here. Take her down.
Yep. Take her down.
The engines are firing. They're plummeting into the sun. I'm sure everything will be fine.
Yeah, it just feels like... And the fact that nobody's like, hey, wait a minute. The fact that it's only 3PO is like, but what if they're like, shut up, 3PO. Jeez. Yeah. So they're lowering this thing. And this is very cool. It won't go well.
I mean, I know. They enter the chromosphere, and they're all checking in. Everything seems to be going fine. We get a rebel trucker here, whose name is Sean.
Sure. Hey, man. It's me, Sean.
It's spelled Shahn, so it's...
I know, I love that. Yeah, I like that idea, right? This, like, based on the spelling, it's a Star Wars name.
Yeah. But
Sean.
It's pronounced Sean.
Yeah. And he's his rebel trucker hat.
Presumably he's part of the like usual team that does this because he's got a hat with the logo of the pyramid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're unionized actually, man.
So
we're energy generator local 118.
I'm sure Sean will be just fine. Anyway, so they're cascading through the chromosphere. The fleet's looking good. The energy pyramid's all looking good. Time for the rebels to get out of here.
Yeah. Leia orders all personnel except those assigned to the maintenance crew report to the shuttle bay on the double.
So the idea is they're going to leave the fleet in here with like skeleton crews to keep the ships operational. Everybody else is using a shielded shuttle to escape from the sun and go back to Arbra.
Right.
So then they'll have like, what does 3PO say here? Like 6-day rotations.
Right, because it's like, yeah, we can't just leave the ships up there. Somebody's got to keep them running. So yeah, but boy, I wouldn't want to be in any of those rotations.
I mean, that's the start of a horror movie, right? This is some Event Horizon stuff.
Oh yeah. Or even better, Sunshine.
I mean, that is the spaceship movie where they're flying into the sun and people go crazy. So yeah.
Yeah. But underrated, by the way. People should check out Sunshine. Sunshine's really good.
But yeah, Leia's like, good luck, chuckleheads, and flies away.
Yeah. Yeah, I know she's not quick to volunteer to stay up there.
Yeah. Well, look, Leia's got important Leia things to do.
I've got decisions to make and rebel pilot to look side-eyed at.
Meanwhile, as everyone's leaving, we've got 3PO and R2 lagging behind.
Yeah, dogging it. I don't know what they're up to. You feel like 3PO would be very fast to get off of this thing.
Well, his joints only move so quickly.
Well, that depends. We have seen him in a full-on sprint in this comic before.
That's true. That's true.
Which is always disturbing because you can't fathom it in your brain.
Anyway, R2 dips and goes off down a corridor at random, it seems.
Also, yes, but I also just want to point out, I agree with 3PO. I still don't understand why we had to come along in the first place. Agreed, 3PO. And I love that the comic's just like, yeah, it makes no sense that they're here, but so what?
It's that scene from Emperor's New Groove with Kronk pulling the map down. Yeah, by all accounts, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% that, where it's just like, why are we even here? Oh, never mind. Yes, but R2, what a scamp.
Yeah, but it's fine, because he found the plot device.
Yeah.
That's the device that contains the plot.
I mean, one of the great things about R2 not having dialogue we can recognize is that he can basically just be like, boop, 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 boop. I noticed a plot point over here. Who knows what he's saying? We don't have time to indulge in your exploratory whims. Also, I love this idea, too, that, like, they're stuck together.
Well,
like,
he's his counterpart.
Yeah, I just like the idea, though, that it's like, because they're a duo in the story, 3PO couldn't just keep going with it. If R2's gonna, then he's got to veer off too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's this... That's what makes their relationship entertaining, right? Is the whole, like, Abbott and Costello thing or any
it's
other
very comedy
famous
duo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are a pair always, and where one goes, the other one goes.
Yeah. And so if R2 goes down a hallway, 3PO's not going to continue down the logical path. He's going to swerve and go, R2, where are you going?
Yeah. And there it is. And so R2's plugging into a thing. He's didding it. Yeesh.
I mean, look, but he says Fredurp, which is him telling 3PO to keep his shirt on.
I did think, yeah, but also it's one of those things where it's like, they have that saying in Star. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. It's just something funny about R2 being like, keep your shirt on.
I mean,
saying that shit to 3PO all the time, right?
I mean, one of the running jokes in like Star Wars fandom is that
he's
R2
always
just curses like a sailor.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy actually did that, where the idea that Groot is cursing when he's saying "I am Groot" is, jeez, gotta talk about your language. You know, but yes, and also you just like, you know, whether he's cursing or not, he is always just like, will you shut up? God, it never ends with you, 3PO.
R2 is constantly somebody's armchair therapist, whether it's 3PO or Luke or whoever's around. Someone's yakking at R2.
And at a certain point, man, he's got to fume, right? He's got to blow. He can't keep taking all that. He's just got to be like, will you shut the fuck up? My God.
Which makes 3PO go, what? The generator's absorption circuit is malfunctioning. It's about to explode?
How did R2 know to check this? And 2, nobody else noticed? Okay. All right. That's the plot.
That's the plot. He found the plot device, John.
I mean, so everything would have been doomed had R2 not randomly plugged into this thing.
Correct.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. All right. Fair. This is a real. We just got to go, man. We just got to get this story going.
So the shuttle launches, leaving 3PO and R2 behind. As
Nobody-
they're discovering this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
nobody on the shuttle did a head count.
No. Yeah. Weren't there supposed to be 2 droids on it? I forget it. Who cares?
I mean, to be fair, I think that's most people's line of thinking.
Well, it is the thing we've talked about often, right? With the treatment of droids in this, which we're not allowed to talk.
No. It's a little surprising that Leia doesn't notice 3PO missing, because
I'm
you'd
just
think
saying, like-
the vacuous silence around her would be an indicator.
Nobody's yammering nonstop. 3PO must be gone. But yeah. Well, the other thing is, it just feels like also people might notice that these two are not only important to plot, but like they're pretty big deals in the rebellion. You would think someone would notice that 3PO and R2 are gone.
R2 is literally the droid that was in the cockpit with Luke when he blew up the Death Star.
People are stopping him for selfies. I mean, that's
Yeah,
beyond
100%.
He's a big deal. All right.
Now, 3PO,
They'll, you know what's they're getting selfies with R2, and 3PO's going, "Did you want one with me too?" Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
3PO's the Ant-Man.
3PO is constantly with Leia, so I feel like people would be excited to initially meet 3PO, and then once they got to know him, they would be exhausted by him.
That would be the thing. Or they ask 3PO to take the picture of them with Leia.
Exactly.
Oh, sure, man. Could you? Yeah, the button's right there. Got it. Okay, great.
Meanwhile, we are seeing the shuttle fly away, and then pew, or foof, I should say,
Yeah.
because the power goes out.
And I have a bad feeling about this. Is this the first one we've gotten on the comic?
No, it can't be.
I have no idea, but yeah. Anyway, but I still took notice of it because obviously that's a big Star Wars thing.
I don't know if it's quite a thing yet. We've had 2 movies. 2 does not make a pattern. I don't know.
That is interesting.
At what point does I have a bad feeling about this become a thing?
I guess the fact that when there were only 3 movies and it's in all of them, I guess, yeah, that's probably it.
So, maybe this is just coincidence. Maybe it's the start of something larger.
Yeah, maybe it started here. No, like Michelin was just like, they said this in both movies. I wonder if that's going to be a thing.
But they go traipsing around inside the ship. They've got to get somebody to help. There's a skeleton crew here, right? Oh, whoops, they're all unconscious.
Yeah, I mean, they say unconscious. They look dead. I mean,
They look super dead.
There's smoke coming out of the computers and stuff like that.
3PO says
Yeah.
the burning circuitry must have produced noxious fumes, rendering the maintenance crew unconscious. But that reads to me like, oh, they're just all tuckered out. Don't worry, 3PO. Of course, yeah, they're just sleeping.
The guy who's like on top of the console, there's another guy whose body is half slumped into the control thing. Mm-hmm. This guy there who's got like his knee up and one. I mean, these guys are all kinds of dead. Don't worry, R2. They're just unconscious. Yes.
Does 3PO not know what death is?
Ooh. He's always afraid of it, though. I'm always afraid of going unconscious. Is there something worse? Oh, no.
To be fair, from a droid's perspective, they can be like blown up and destroyed and put back together and their consciousness restored.
It's already happened to 3PO.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe he doesn't quite register death in the same way people like us do.
Oh, man. Boy, let's open up that can of worms and go for another hour about that. Yeah, what is the droid's view of death? Anyway, let's cut back to Luke and Lando while we're at it.
Oh, thank God.
They're Vararking their way through the stars, man.
Yeah, they got some trippy lights coming at them through hyperspace. We got some purples and blues and whites and reds and yellows.
I always just want to cut to the magic. I like to dream when they cut to these things. Yeah.
See, I always imagine Space Trucker by Deep Purple, but that's just
That's
me.
good too. Some kind of psychedelic rock song is playing when we just hard cut to them flying past rainbow colors, right?
And Lando is getting called up to the cockpit by Chewie because it's his turn to drive.
Yeah, but
meanwhile,
not yet, buddy.
they're playing a game of Nova Crown, which...
Okay, I got questions. Mm-hmm. Number one, it's never been called Nova Crown in anything I've seen, but that's fine. My bigger concern, or my bigger interest here, why do they have physical pieces? We distinctly know this is a hollow chess table.
John, you're assuming that it's the same game.
Well, I'm not. I guess I am assuming it's the same game, but I'm assuming that the table functions the same. I guess the idea is that there's another game you could play that you would not turn on the. I mean, I guess that makes sense, except for I've never. Okay. I think you understand my problem.
So it is a.
Are you looking up Nova Crown? Oh my god! Of course, there's a fucking article entry about this.
Nova Crown is a 2-player board game that looked very similar to chess. It involved each player moving their solid pieces strategically on a black and white checkered board. The pieces resemble creatures. One player sets their piece with light blue and the other one was with purple. Now, this is distinct from the space chess we've seen before because that board, if you recall, is circular and this one is square.
Yes, it is. So they have put a board over the hollow board?
Correct.
Brilliant. You know what I like about that? Okay, fine. Okay, that's all fine. They've decided to do something less cool than hollow chess. Cool. All right.
Hollow chess, of course, called Dejarik.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, right. We all know that.
Yeah, it's a popular game, John.
Common knowledge. Yeah,
It
because
originates with the Jedi, you know.
when Luke stands up here, the whole board falls over.
Exactly.
And by the way, Luke totally cheating, right? Because Lando's like, I've got him here. And then Luke's like, what's that? An emergency? Oh, no, the board.
Well, I think the implication here is that, Chewie is growling at them to come relieve him, and then he, jostles the ship to tip the board.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Never mind. Luke, you're fine.
But I do like the little dialogue here after the game gets spoiled, where both Luke and Lando are thinking, that's one I owe you, Chewie, implying that they were both thinking they were going to lose.
So they're both just... I don't think either one of them knows what the hell this game is.
No, they just found this, in a cupboard somewhere.
Doesn't Han have a game cupboard around here somewhere?
No, this is Lando going through the back room, and it's like, well, I hope my cape closet is still... My God, it's board games all the way down.
Son of a bitch! How dare you defile a beautiful cape closet? Cape closet, one of my favorite things in the Solo movie.
Yeah, Solo, of course, just collecting bespoke versions of Sabacc decks.
No, Chewie, they didn't give us any credits for this spice run, but they did give us this sweet Sabacc set.
This one is Hobbit-themed.
Mm-hmm. That's right, because Tolkien mythology exists in this world, too.
100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll cut back to the main plot.
That exists now. All right. Yes, back to... And meanwhile... talk about just by the way, those guys are out there, too. It doesn't matter. Back to this plot. Yeah,
back to a probable disaster.
I do like the scene of a probable disaster. Lots of probable, maybe, could be, might shut down part of a facet of the Empire. All right, so Leia's like, whew, okay, great. We got out of there, but just barely.
Because the shuttle they're taking needs, to recharge its shields to escape the gravity and heat of a sun.
Yeah, almost feels like, once again, so then that's pretty hard to go back and forth, which makes this seem like, once again, maybe too dangerous a plan for me.
But again, much like just riding around in a submarine where the pressures could kill any person on board at any moment, it is also a good way of evading your enemies.
Never get me on a submarine. All right, you hear that right now? And I know the Navy's always banging on my door going, we need you, man. We need another submariner here. Submariner or Submariner? What's your take on that?
I mean, if it were me, I would want to be called a Submariner, just for the reference of it all.
I would want to be called a Submariner.
I believe they're still seamen regardless.
Oh, yes, they're all seamen. We know that. But then there are different kinds of... but yes. I think
anyway.
It's called a submarine. I would think you would call it a submariner. That's just my argument.
Maybe.
Anyway... Glad we solved that. Yeah.
Leia's getting a phone call.
Hey, Leia, there's an annoying high-anxiety droid on the phone.
But what do you mean? 3PO's on the shuttle. How could he be calling?
How big is this shuttle that she's unaware 3PO's?
It presumably has the entire crew of all of the ships that were down
but
inside.
look at it. We see it.
We have no scale reference for it.
You're right. It is coming away from a sun, so I guess I can't. Yeah.
For all I know, that contains a single Kryptonian baby.
No, that was a big crystal thing.
Depends who's writing it.
That's true. I'm fixing on the Donner aspect of it. So yes, just like 3PO with his little microphone. Hello, is this thing on?
Oh,
Testing.
good.
Testing. I'm sorry to be the bearer of ill tidings, Princess, but I'm afraid we're experiencing a widespread systems breakdown. And of course, the crew has been rendered immobile. They wouldn't wake up no matter what I did. They must be really unconscious.
They're so tuckered out.
Yeah. Lazing on the job. Yeah. So anyway, I just love this idea that Leia's like, that's impossible. Yes, Leia, it's quite unlikely that things immediately went bad. Instantly. I mean, quickly. This didn't function at all.
Well, and here's where I start getting a little suspicious on this next page. So 3PO is still explaining just how bad things are going to be.
Yeah.
And one of the rebel officers is like, look, I hate to sound insensitive about those droids, but that's the least of our problems. If this goes wrong, we're going to lose all of the ships in the fleet. At which point, Shira Bree says, oh, how tragic.
The fuck, lady?
I mean, that's bad guy foreshadowing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Like, how did this go wrong immediately? Because somebody sabotaged it.
Well, it would have to be, right?
Presumably, if this is standard operating procedure.
Can I also say, yeah, the standard operating procedure, but they're a little bit too... Maybe don't put the whole fleet in there right away?
Maybe give it a test run with, like, one ship.
Yeah, I know. I just thought that was interesting, too. It's like, if this fails, we're going to lose the whole fleet. And I did think, you put all the ships in there?
But, to be fair, that decision is immediately vindicated when they see that Imperial ships are entering the system.
I guess. Well, because just how fucking bad can it go, man? This has all happened within, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah. So they land the shuttle on a nearby moon to try to evade... I'm sorry, not evade. Elusive action is taken.
That's a thing people say. Take elusive action. What, sir? But this book also loves blast because it can't use any other kind of curse word.
Blast.
Blast. That's such a comic book curse word. I always think, like, that's always what I think of, like Doctor Doom going blast.
Well, and this was before they had the confidence to just start making stuff up, like Dank Farrik.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We're not fracking yet.
So
okay.
yeah, Imperials in the system, and things are going wrong. Wow, this is a bad scene.
To be fair, it is only 4 TIE fighters.
It is. And Bree is suggesting, hey, we launched the X-Wings, we could take these guys out. But Leia, the strategist, says, no, if they go missing, that will just cause somebody to come sniffing around.
Which is valid.
Totally. Now, my problem is that it is just 4 TIE fighters, and we established in the first movie that TIE fighters are not long-range, like, scouting vessels.
You've never seen a TIE fighter just cruising about.
Yeah, if you do, it's suspicious, right?
Right, yeah. I think this is our first person given a yeoman rank I've ever seen in Star Wars.
Who is she talking to? Oh, just the guy on the screen.
Meanwhile, yeoman, yeah.
Yeah, yeoman helmet guy is, I guess.
I mean, because, like, Star Trek is very regimented, and just it is the Navy ranking. Star Wars kind of just does stuff.
The
like
Empire has, like, specific ranks that all sort of make sense. The Rebellion's all over the place.
Yeah, it does feel like, because, I mean, like, I have always thought, like, General Solo. He got to general status?
But Luke is a commander, and, like, how do those two fit with each other?
They seem to just give Han captain status because he has a ship. Like, yeah, I mean, like, because that's the thing. It's like, what kind of organization is there? To the Rebellion, they're inherently not an organization. I mean, they are, you know, I mean, they're a... It's weird.
You want me to get into it, John?
Oh, boy.
So, prior to Mon Mothma's defection from the Imperial Senate, there was no, like, organized, quote-unquote, rebellion, right? They didn't become the alliance to renew the Republic until there was like a coalescing of different rebel cells, at which point they started to adhere to like a broader military structure. But some of those independent cells still function on their own and have their own little command structures within them. It's complicated.
Yeah, but at this point, they're more, centralized, right?
Yes, at this point, like the rebellion is the alliance to restore the Republic. It's
Right.
like-
Yeah, because
that's why it's called the Galactic Civil War. We have two sides.
Yeah, it's because that's the thing we've talked about a lot, and I think we're seeing more in Star Wars now is the idea that the rebellion didn't start as a singular thing, but there were sort of pockets of it, and then eventually it coalesced into one thing.
Pockets. I'm sorry. I'm just obsessed with how that one guy says pockets in Andor.
Yeah, it's great. Pockets. Why is that what you're most terrified of?
Pockets.
I mean, sure, we could deal with one, maybe two, but plural pockets? Dear
don't know how
God!
deep those pockets go.
Yeah. So anyway, there's no. I mean, this is about to blow up instantly. Is what we're saying.
If we don't do something right now,
Yeah.
the whole fleet's gone.
May
So-
very well be melted into slag, says 3PO.
Meanwhile, let's get into some more bizarre space nonsense.
Yeah, I gotta say, this as you brought up at the beginning, this as a singular issue story is a mess. The random cuts back to the Falcon are just anyway. Nice to. I love these guys just compliment each other. Hey man, you entered the coordinates so fast. Nice jump, Chewie.
Yeah, but here's what I don't get. Lando is the one to go, what in the heck is that thing? As we cut back to this huge space station called Bazaar, spelled Bazarre, like the marketplace.
Except it has an E.
Bazaar has an E.
No, it doesn't. I looked this up because I was confused about this.
Oh.
Bizarre.
I always spelled it with an E.
A marketplace bazaar is spelled Bazaar. So actually, they've switched it. It's 2 A's, 1 R. Here they've made it 1 A, 2 R's, and added an E.
Bizarre.
Yeah. I guess, once again, like the Sean thing, that's the space spelling.
Ah, got it. This is a space spelling. It's like the gray and gray, depending on if it's American or English.
Yeah. I also like the design of this thing. And incidental, I don't think they meant this. It looks like it has a tiny little cowboy hat.
Oh my god. The minute you said that, I saw it. And I was just like, that's his little cowboy hat.
Yep. It was the first thing I saw. I'm like, why is it wearing a cowboy hat? I yelled, "No, what the bazaar?
Yeah.
Call me, man. We got deals for y'all." Anyway, this thing is gigantic because I think I see it looks like a blockade runner for scale.
Yeah, and that thing's tiny by comparison.
Yeah. So this thing is like almost Death Star sized.
It reminds me of the guild ships from Dune, right? With this huge big opening that ships can fly in and out of.
Yes. And it's a giant mall, basically. I mean, is there a more 80s idea for a Star Wars comic than Luke, Lando, and Chewie go to the mall?
They got to go to that shopping center amongst the stars.
I got to hit up Macy's.
Well, you can buy the Millennium Falcon over here at Sears.
By the fine folks at Sears. Yeah. All right, we meet back in an hour at the food court. Gonna get some Sbarro.
Lando, you're not allowed to have the credit card. I got to carry that.
Damn. Yeah, he would be the spendthrift of that bunch, for sure. They've got the Rebellion credit card.
Yeah, of course they do.
What is this? $2,000 at Capes R Us? You son... Lando! What?
But they're here because it's their best hope of hurting the Empire as badly as they've hurt us.
What that is, how that will be the case, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, because as we turn the page, we're back to the disaster in progress.
Yeah. Okay. Let's on this page here, second panel, R2's rolling by a corpse. You can't tell me that's not a corpse. That just dead hand on the... Yeah.
To be fair, R2 totally desensitized to death at this point.
Oh god, I mean, we've talked about too, and has taken many lives.
Yeah, but R2, as opposed to 3PO, still remembers the Clone Wars.
This is true. Yeah, that's. Yeah, as we've talked about, I think R2 is the only character with the full context of the Star Wars.
Yeah, he remembers from start to finish the Skywalker saga.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to 3PO, who's had his mind wipe 3 times?
Yeah.
Or twice. He definitely has it erased after the prequels. I think it doesn't get erased again until Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, which was such a consequential sequence. So important story-wise that really, I felt that.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm not allowed to talk about anymore. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, R2 has come up with an idea because 3PO is useless.
But the Rebels are also trying to come up with a plan because it looks like the Imperials are getting out of here.
Yeah. Well, and they're losing signal to 3PO, so it's like...
we got to do something.
Yeah. I also like the idea about just like... the idea about, oh no, TIE fighters, and then it's just like, nah, they didn't see us.
It's like that joke from Lower Decks where the Romulans are scanning. Everyone be quiet, they're scanning. Okay,
yeah.
Oh no, they're scanning.
Yeah. Very much so. Because but once again, it's like, why even bring that up? They don't even, I guess they take their elusive action.
But it stops Leia from immediately responding to the situation.
Yeah, it's like it's not like Leia comes up with a cool thing to distract them or something like that. They just don't see them, and it's great.
Yep.
All right.
So R2 came up with a plan. 3PO responds, "Oh no, you can't be serious. I refuse. I'll never." And then we cut to the next page. 3PO? Know how you talked me into this.
Man, what a sitcom cut that is.
I like the pacing there. But yeah, they're out in the middle of space.
3PO in space.
3PO's got a jetpack on.
I mean, it's something I never thought I'd see.
And he's wrapped R2 to go.
I see you didn't finish your astromech. Would you like that to go? Yeah, so they're flying through here. Yeah, R2's wrapped in reflective foil. And I guess 3PO is already reflective. Is that the idea?
I guess. I mean, look, this is another page of, okay, let's explain the thing that we already talked amongst our characters in the last page, but we have to reiterate for the reader.
Is the reflective foil I wrapped around you keeping you comfortable, R2?
Yeah. I'm beginning to feel a bit warm myself. Oh, the temperature is rising because we're nearing the edge of the pyramid. But how could... Good gracious, the heat is melting my rocket pack. We're losing maneuverability.
By the way, I think this is when was the Cloud City thing? That was pretty... That was the
last issue.
It was the last issue, okay.
I know, due to podcast time travel, our memories can get hazy at times.
We might have taken a break that you people didn't notice. But anyway, I'm just saying, that's 2 in a row of rocket packs then. 2 issues in a row that have rocket packs in them. I'm not complaining.
He likes rocket packs.
I'm not complaining. I love a rocket pack as well. Yeah, so anyway, oh no, and without it, our momentum will carry us past the cruiser, through the shield, and into the Corona. And then everybody applauds when he says, "We're doomed." It's his catchphrase.
Hooray.
Yay.
Because, yeah, the plan is to grab this cable and fly it from the energy projector thing down to a cruiser to basically give the energy projector thing a jump start.
Sure.
Yeah. Technobabble.
Yeah, they tech the tech, as the Star Trek writers used to write in scripts.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, back to the Bizarre.
Bizarre.
Yeah. While in another part of the galaxy, things are also heating up. Solid. By the way, Michelini, solid.
Yeah, that's solid. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
So they've docked. There's also a bunch of other weird spaceships here. I believe that is a California class in the back left of the Millennium there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And Lando put on, like, shoulder pads?
I don't know. Simonson draws a beefy Lando in this panel for some reason.
I've been bulking up. I'm huge.
I'm huge. Maybe it's just like the cape is accentuating the shoulders.
I don't know.
But they're here. They're here to meet somebody named Ferret.
And in front of them is clearly a kidnapping in progress.
How could it be a kidnapping? He's saying MEPS.
I'm just saying, that woman looks concerned. They both look terrified.
You know how McClunky is the universal phraseology for I'm going to kill you? MEPS is the universal phraseology for everything is fine here.
Yeah, which really, once again, makes me think it's not a kidnapping when he's just going, everything's fine.
Everything's
Well, like everything's good. We're good.
Especially in this big, lawless, white dome we find ourselves in.
Yeah, this place is a little scary.
It's a bunch of tents, a bunch of shops set up all over the place. We got people hawking their wares here. Someone's selling croutons.
Croutons, 4 credits the pair. Hey, that's a good deal. I need to.
That's a pretty good deal on croutons.
I have been running low on croutons. That's the only thing we get, because everything else is like only flown once by a little old, which is great, very car.
Handmade on.
Yeah, can't let you have it, for
My wallet.
So somebody got pickpocketed too.
Of course.
My wallet's gone.
My ID and insurance card. No.
Yeah. So anyway, how do they find Ferret with all these people? And then, I think he's found us.
As they are surrounded by scuba divers with guns.
In general, I think I've talked about it before. I do not like scene transitions mid-page like this.
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
It just never feels right to me. It's one thing if it's the same character and it's like a time lapse thing. That's but to cut from one part of the story to another feels a little weird.
I kind of got what they were doing with the art here, though, because we go from, like, over-the-shoulder barrel of a gun pointed towards Lando and Luke to all the machinery in front of Leia looks like barrels of guns pointed down at her.
Yeah, if the framing was similar, I might go more with you. Just like and I don't know. I like it's Michelin just being like, I'm at it. This is also happening.
Look, we've only got 2 pages left in this book. Like,
and
yeah.
Anyway, if things are still bad.
Yeah, they're flying into the sun, and Leia is saying, okay, the shields aren't at full strength, but they should hold for one pass-through. Let's go. Meanwhile, random rebel guy's like, but Princess, it won't do any good. According to the computer calculations, the unprotected fleet entered the Corona 30 seconds ago.
And Leia's just like, fuck. Okay.
I do like Leia's response here. It is like, she doesn't break down screaming. I think it's pretty in character to be just like,
I agree.
Frack, we just got to start rebuilding. Yeah.
All right.
Hell.
Yeah, we'll build more ships, which I would love to know what step 1 of that process is. But I guess they could mine. It's a whole thing. I don't know.
They actually have to. They go through that in the more recent Marvel comics. That's actually like a thing in the first chunk pre Empire Strikes Back. They like lose a big chunk of their fleet and have to rebuild it.
It's kind of an undertaking too. It's not just like, we'll build more ships.
Yeah, and there's that whole like intrigue plot line on that mining planet, Shotorun.
Mm-hmm. You remember this much better.
I because I've reread the Vader parts of it like a lot, and like there's this whole like Vader trying to be diplomatic section of the book that I find very entertaining.
That is much better written than when Vader just was diplomatic and knew all the rules of that planet a while back.
Right. It's like ham-fisted Vader trying to, like, under the Emperor's orders, be a diplomat and failing.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know that I love 3PO going, you.
Yeah, 3PO with a yoo-hoo. I don't know.
Yoo-hoo, over here. It's me.
But the one time you do want to hear from 3PO is when the safety of the Rebel fleet is involved.
Can we talk about the guy behind Leia?
Haru? Well, and Sean's there too over her other shoulder.
He's going, what? What?
But yeah, turns out...
I'm on my union-sanctioned smoke break.
Turns out that 3PO and R2, they done did it.
Once again, just the writing of this, I don't know. They're just like, oh, everything's fine.
It turns out there was a scary situation a couple pages ago, but we fixed it, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, this really does feel like we want to do the bizarre story, but we can't get there yet, so we'll seed that in the meantime. Like you were saying, it's just like we'll need something to fill the rest of these pages.
Yeah, because it turns out R2 was able to use his fire extinguisher to change their trajectory so they could hook up the cable to do the thing.
Which, obvious. Come on, man.
Yeah.
We all thought.
And this was before R2 was established as having jetpacks himself, to be fair.
Yeah, actually, that is the thing, man. Son of a bitch, Archie. You could have gotten us out of this in a second with your own jetpacks. The Swiss Army knife that is R2-D2 has not fully unfurled itself as of yet.
Not quite yet. Yeah, I mean, he's not like murking super battle droids like he does in Revenge of the Sith.
Holy God, I remember seeing that scene and being like, what? He just lit those sons of bitches up, man. Look, we're big Simonson fans. Don't know that I love this super close-up giant grin on Leia. It's a little weird. It's a little off-putting.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna take it because Simonson is leagues better at like captivating or capturing Leia's face than Infantino.
No question, but I'm just, I can't just give him a full pass on everything.
And I think some of that's the inks because the teeth aren't separated at all.
Ooh, yeah, I think that is a big part of it.
Like he's got this big block of white enamel between her lips. Yeah.
And so anyway, everything's back and it's all good, baby.
So Leia's like, "Hey, call Luke Skywalker. Let him know. Don't worry about it. We got this."
And then Shira Bree's like, "And tell him hi from me." God damn it!
Shira actually, strangely conspicuously missing from this latter chunk of the issue.
Yeah, yes, this is true.
Just saying.
Yeah, keep an eye out. We don't know that character.
A named character who Leia immediately disliked has been introduced, and nothing so far has engendered me to her, other than she also likes Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Bitch. Anyway, so yeah, you'll both get medals for this, as well as the longest, warmest lube bath. Ugh.
Warm lube bath.
Oh God! Every time they bring that up, and we've also talked about like the idea that he's like, "Ooh, it's so warm."
The warm, gooey lube just creasing into every joint. Delicious.
Oh, God. Ugh. Ugh.
What was that grease stuff they put on themselves in Star Trek Enterprise? I'm making a lot of Star Trek references.
It's decontamination gel.
Decontamination gel. Think about it like that.
Yeah, and they always had to put it on one another. Like nobody's ever put. It's always like, "Here to Paul, let me get you back."
Yeah, of course.
That was from the UPN note of this show needs to be sexier.
Can you make it 15% sexier? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they discovered a shocking thing, which is, the same people who always watch Star Trek seem to be the only people watching this. We can't seem to get a new audience for this. Interesting, yeah.
Well,
anyway.
And thankfully they didn't torture somebody like Jerry Ryan in that corset, so.
Well, no, no, of course not. T'Pol's outfit looks super comfortable. All right. Yeah.
But yeah, we tried to send a message to Luke Skywalker to let him know everything's okay. But what's this? I've been trying to raise the Millennium Falcon ever since you first ordered, but I've gotten no response.
Yeah.
It's like they've simply dropped out of existence. Dun, dun, dun.
Apparently next issue we're getting my favorite William Castle 1950s horror movie too. Bazaar! Look at that, like, the bazaar!
And it has to be pronounced like that, too.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll feel the thrills.
That was one of those movies where when the title card comes up in the trailer, there's lightning from the edges of the screen that shocks all words. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a theremin. It's great. Great stuff.
But yeah.
No, all right.
Look, so we got a bit of a nothing burger on the plot here. We're just driving towards this bizarre plot.
Yeah. Which better deliver. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to build like this.
I think we're maybe laying the groundwork for a traitor in our midst, because how else would all of this have failed all of a sudden?
Here's the thing. You read ahead. I don't. I don't know if you're joking or if that's really going to happen. That's what's exciting about this show.
That's what's exciting, John. We
No
just don't know.
spoilers. No spoilers. Well, if you want more from us, there won't be spoilers there either. Well, maybe there will be. I don't know. You can head over to our Patreon page, which is Patreon. What was it? Oh, it's Patreon. Haven't done this in a while. Patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. There you
Ooh,
go.
raw room.
Yes, indeed. And there you get cool exclusive bonus content from all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network, as well as helping support the shows we do here.
And don't be hasty unless you're going over to our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. There you can like, comment, subscribe, watch this show. You can see the little cowboy hat in the spaceship if you watch this episode over there.
You sure can. No, that's the best way to experience the show as we talk, is you can actually read the comic along with us, which is very fun.
Absolutely. And while you're there, you can see a bunch of YouTube exclusive stuff, including Punch Up Plays, where Elliot Lewis and I are playing through the Mass Effect series. I think that Saren guy's up to no good. Just
I don't know. He
saying.
seems like a straight ahead fella.
Yeah. And you can also see John's interview series where he's interviewing. Oh God, why am I blanking on the name of the show, John? I'm so sorry.
Give me 5.
Give Me 5, where John takes 5 to talk to creators across the spectrum of arts and creative endeavors about what they do and how they do it. But yeah, please ring that bell for notifications every time a new thing drops over here on the Punch Up Entertainment Network.
Indeed, but I think that's going to do it for this week, Gergani.
Yes, it will, because as always, I have been Mike Gergoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.